Hello, I'm Derek, a software engineer here at Syntasso, and today I'm going to demonstrate our brand new integration with Cortex, which will bring your Kratix promises into your Cortex portal. So let's take a look at my setup. So here I have my platform cluster running Kratix and running our ski Cortex controller, which will be responsible for populating Cortex with the entities and the workflows to interact with the promise. And the way that's going to achieve that is by uh, listening to this repository. So I have a repository that Cortex is configured to push to. So whenever I install a promise, I run a workflow. That workflow will push some information into this repo. This is going to be picked up by the GitOps agent that is running here on my platform cluster. So let's go ahead and see that in practice. So right now I have no promises. I'm going to go ahead and install a promise and we're going to inform our Cortex controller to say this promise should be made available in Cortex. And to do that, we use this label. So it's an opt-in feature. Every promise that you want to install in your platform, you can say, I want that to be available in Cortex. Very similar to our backstage integration if you're familiar with it. So let's go ahead and apply this promise. Uh, this should run the pipelines and make that, and the Cortex controller will pick that up and make sure that this promise is available in Cortex. So if I refresh my workflows now, I should be able to see a few new workflows that were created. And if I go to my entities, there should be a new entity type as well called Redis, which is a mapping to that promise that I have here in my platform. So let's go ahead and create a Redis. So click on the workflow, click create. This should click run. This should start a new workflow for us, and the input form that you see over here, it's related to the properties that you have in your Promise API. So here you can see that I have a backups and size. They are Boolean and an enum with those values, and you can see that's exactly what we have on this other end over here. So let's go ahead and request one. I'm gonna enable backups. I'm gonna disable backups actually. I'm gonna create a small and submit. And what this integration will do, as I said, is push that manifest into the GitOps repo. You can see that it completed. If I refresh now, we should see a new Redis request coming through, and it contains the fields that I populated in the form. And you can see that our GitOps agent here in my platform already picked that up and is deploying our new Redis. At this point, the Cortex integration will do another thing. It will actually create an entity that represents this new resource that was created in the platform. And that should live here in the Redis entity. Let me just do a quick refresh. My entity type Redis now has my Redis request, which is this one that we just sent through, right? So if you take a look at it, we can also see the information about this resource, like the spec and the status and all that. And you can see that my Redis is actually coming up online on my worker there as well. So excellent. So this is the create workflow. At this point, the user can come over and do an update. They can do that through this page. They can come over here and click in workflow and select update and execute the workflow. And what the integration will do is pre-populate the form with the values that we already have, right? So if I want to change backups and change the size, for example, I can submit. And what this will do is similar to last time. It will push an updated version of this file into this repo. You can see that it's running some validations. Then you send that through. Once that hits our GitHub repo, the platform cluster that is listening to it will apply that and make sure that that is available. So this should happen in any moment. You can see that sometimes the UI here there's a little delay, but you can see that here we go, it's finished. The file was updated. Here's the new version of the file. Kratix already picked that up by the GitOps and is redeploying that Redis. So that's great. The user could also go to the main page, the main workflow page, and click update or delete from here. So let's see the flow to delete this particular request. What they will see in this page is a selector, so they need to select which entity they want to delete. So let's go ahead and delete our Redis instance. So again, it will come to the Git repo, get that file, and delete that file. So if I refresh this now, I should get a 404 because that file no longer exists. And yeah, this is all deleted. Our GitOps agent will pick that up and delete the Redis instance here as well. So in a few moments, that Redis will disappear. And of course, if I go to the entity types, I shall no longer see my Redis once I refresh. I shall no longer see my Redis here. And then if I go ahead and delete this promise entirely, Kratix will also make sure to go ahead, the XKey controller will also make sure to go ahead and delete this entity, make that unavailable, and remove the workflows, since they will be no longer valid. They'll no longer be accessible from your Cortex instance. So you can see that the workflows disappeared, and then at some point in here, eventually, our Redis, also disappeared. So that's our Cortex integration. If you're interested in trying it out, Kratix and Cortex, you can head to syntasso.io and click Try Ski today, and we'll be happy to give you access to it. Thanks.